All right. Welcome to Sideboard MTG. It's Sunday, Subscriber Sunday. So we've got three cool decks for you guys, and looks like you guys are liking Modern more and more because one of our Subscriber Sunday decks is a Modern deck. We've got Goblins, we've got Mono White, and then we've got an Izzet Burn deck for Modern. Hope you guys enjoy, and let's get started. What's up, everyone? How's everyone doing? Hope everyone's great. Everybody's watching football, it seems. So we're gonna have a little fun here. Let me fix this really quick and get my chat up where I can see you guys, where I can talk to you guys. Yeah, well, we're talking American football here, James, not soccer. Just picking, man, just picking. Ready for some games? Well, we've got it. First, we're going to start off here with Goblins, and then we've got low to the ground White or Mono White Aggro, and then after that we've got an Izzet deck. So let's get started with our Goblins deck here. You'll look at the mana base. We've got nothing but mountains, right? So no hiccups, nothing to go wrong there. Everything's red. Everything's going to be fairly smooth on the mana base. So my commentary on the Goblins was good. You made a couple of changes from the original deck. I hope you changed the deck list because I pulled the one that was on at the top of the list there. Flame Lash. What a thing. Flame Lash. All right, so at the beginning of the curve here, we've got no 1-mana Goblins in this deck, which kind of surprises me a little bit, but it doesn't really. We were talking about next set we're looking at Goblins becoming more of a mid-range game, that sort of thing, and it looks like that's kind of the route that we're going here. We've got Goblin Instigator. This is a creature version of a card that a lot of you guys know, Dragon Fodder. You know, you're going to pay 2 mana, you're going to get 2/1/1 Goblins, but yet this is a Goblin creature, so there could be some interaction there. Then, of course, we've got some Lightning Strike because, you know, where would any good red deck be without a little bit of burn? Metallic Mimic, because everything coming in is a Goblin, and if we call Goblins here, we're going to be doing a lot of good things with Metallic Mimic. And then in the 3-drop slot, we've got Fight with Fire. This is a good answer for Lyra. Other things that could be really, really problematic for Goblins. And then, of course, further down here in the mono, or in the 3-drop slot, we've got Goblin War Chief. Now, Goblin War Chief is going to make everything cost a little bit less, and it's going to give those Goblins haste. So, you know, Goblin Instigator is going to care about that. It's not going to be a spell. So this is only going to cost 1 mana here, thanks to Goblin War Chief. If this was something like Dragon Fodder, Goblin War Chief would not be able to reduce that cost, so I do like that. And then, of course, here, where would you be without Goblin Chain Whirler, right? The format restricting card that it is. And then moving on into the 4 drops, we do have that Flame Lash I mentioned a moment ago. This is not a card that a lot of people are used to, but it is 4 damage to any target for 4 mana. So that's not horrible. Great late game draw. It does help you deal with quite a few things. And then 1 copy of Hazret because it's Hazret, and we could end up dumping our hand fairly easily. I do like that we only have the 1 copy of Hazret here. I think that if you were trying to run 3 or 4 copies of Hazret, you probably wouldn't do as well considering the overall converted mana cost of this deck. And then 3 copies of Chandra, Torch of Defiance. Got to get a little play in with her while we can, right? She's going to be leaving. I don't think she needs any explanation, but she will help us with a little bit of card advantage. She'll help us with ramp or, you know, a little board control. And then, of course, if you emblem her, it's pretty much a game over. Now, the last thing here on the 4-drop slot is going to be Goblin Trashmaster. This will help you deal with a lot of those pesky artifact decks that we do see pop up from time to time. You know, there's the mono blue artifact deck and things like that, and Goblin Trashmaster will give you the tools needed to be able to just deal with those. All you have to do is sacrifice a goblin, destroy target artifact. That is instant speed. Should work fairly well. And then in the 5-drop slot here, we have Siege Gang Commander. We'll use the new print, right? And it does have to be said that a foil Siege Gang Commander makes foil tokens, so you know, that's a thing, right? So you know, the foil Siege Gang Commander is going to reign supreme. Ready, fire! All right, so Siege Gang Commander allows us to pay 2 mana, 1 red and a color, sacrifice a goblin, and deal 2 damage to any target. Pretty cool card. And then that brings us to the sideboard here. Chandra's Defeat as a 3-of works really good against you know, a whole bunch of different things. You know, Glorybringers, Chandra's, Nicol Bolas. A lot of people, you know, forget about that. Nicol Bolas can die to 3 of the different defeats. So, you know, Chandra's Defeat definitely warrants some play, killing, you know, Glorybringers, Demanding Dragons, and just a plethora of things. 4 copies of Braid, because you may need some more spot removal, or maybe just some more artifact tape. A couple more copies of Fight with Fire, because I assume that this deck loses pretty hard to a card like Lyra. And then, of course, if you do happen to get to that bulk of mana, and you can cast this with its kicker, that's 10 damage, and yeah, that's a real thing. Volley Veteran here. Now, this was one I wasn't expecting to see, but when Volley Veteran enters the battlefield, it deals damage to target creature and opponent controls equal to the number of goblins you have. This can kind of be like your FTK, or you know, your Desert FTK, Sand Strangler, or you know, if you guys do remember Flang Tongue Kabu, Flang Tongue would just give you that lightning bolt on a stick. And then, of course, we've got the Rekindling Phoenix is to kind of set up a wall if we need to. This is going to be our aerial fighter. Probably one of the best blockers in red, but yet it's also a very aggressive creature. Hard to deal with, and it will help us tax those Vraska's Contempts. So that is our Goblin deck. Let's go see if we can win a game. All right, we need to get into the standard format here. We will select our Goblin deck, and let's see if we can get a game. You don't think Kinko is but Mizzix is from Ravnica? I don't know where they're from. Goblins ho! Right? Goblins. Krinko is from Ravnica, and he isn't associated with any guilds. That's a cool piece of information there, Madness. For the record, I know that you're here now, Madness, but it wasn't you that got under my skin. It was the fact that I recognized 3 out of the 5 names, and when we come up against the burn deck, and I recognized that name too, I was like, okay, I'm done. I am done. And I was done. So rather than just get mad and complain about being stream sniped, I decided to just end the stream. I really am not enjoying Modern right now. Of course, I never really have, so I am going to keep this hand, as it'll put us into a 2-drop, a 3-drop, and a 4-drop. There's no 1-drop in the deck, so there's no hope for playing something on turn 1, so this is as good as just about anything. And, you know, with the Fight with Fires and things like that, maybe the mana will be sufficient. This will probably be a little bit problematic. We'll see. we may have to do something about that, but I assume we get Fatal Pushed here. Oh, okay. So he's just going to make us Doomfall it. And attack for 2? You're going to attack opponent? You're going to attack? There we go. Congratulations. If this card survives, we're setting up for a really good turn 4. Our turn 4 will be another Goblin War Chief. And I am going to go ahead and attack here, but it'll be another Goblin War Chief. And then from there, that will reduce the cost of Goblin Trashmaster and which, never mind, doesn't matter. 100% think that we slam the Chandra and deal with this gifted Aetherborn. Get some value out of that while we can. And we'll pass. Then next turn we can still do the Goblin War Chief into the Goblin Trashmaster if he doesn't Vraska's Contempt or never our Chandra. Looks like that happened, so we're just going to play our Goblin War Chief and swing. The Boros Legion. You guys speculating? Okay. There's a Goblin Trashmaster. Champion of Dusk. It's not bad. We will more than likely burn this. Yeah, I think I want to burn this. And we'll pass the turn. So, I mean, we're getting a little bit of damage. We're starting to get to, you know, even mana here. Yahini, the Undying Partisan. Okay. The opponent does still have one card left in his hand. Okay, so we can play a Trashmaster. Swing for 4. Cast down is our opponent's last card. Yahini's going to grow a little bit. And we'll see what else the opponent has. So he's going to cycle. He may Ifnir Deadlands this so that he can Ifnir Deadlands again next turn. Or he may just Doomfall. Now that'll exile, which means it will not put a counter on Yahini. There's another land. And we're now both living off the top deck. We'll see what happens. We both have 3/3s. His could be a little bit better than ours. Champion of Dusk. Yahini is a vampire, ladies and gentlemen. Aetherborn vampire. He is the Aether Trader. So, yeah. Uh-oh. A little bit of freezage. And we really can't swing right now, so we're just going to have to pass the turn. It does have the City's Blessing right now. He can make quite a few zombies. Yahini's also a female. I was pretty sure that the Aetherborn did not have a sex, so if it's a female, okay. That's game. All right, we'll go to the sideboard. Yeah, I was pretty sure that that they were sexless, but you got it. I am bringing in Rekindling Phoenix here. There's no... I think we can deal without Flame Lash. Maybe a Goblin Trashmaster. maybe even one less fodder. And I'm actually gonna discard the Hazret and bring in one more Fight with Fire. You just remember some flavor text making hints. Well, maybe it made hints at those that do not have gender. And hey, we won! Alright, we'll play another game with the Goblins. The opponent just scooped it up there. I don't remember any of the flavor texts having to do with Yahini. But if you can find it, then by all means. But I was under the impression that the Aetherborn did not have a gender. So I am going to keep this hand. It's not that horrible, and if this Mimic lives, we should be in a pretty good spot. Chain Whirler could be great as well on 3. Having a 4/4 first striker seems really good to me. I mean, he may just have like Essence Scatter or something here. We'll play the Mimic, call Goblins. So if he's got an Essence Scatter, that's fine. Yeah, this hand does look fairly sweet. Wizard's Retort. Okay. Got me. Got me, opponent. Spinning them now is better than spinning them. Definitely would like to get this Goblin Chain Whirler down. But we're going to play Goblin Chain Whirler even if he does have open mana. So he may have another answer here. But if he doesn't, Chain Whirler is going to be great. And now, hold response, give it Death Touch, right? It's going to be possible here really soon, guys. Get ready for it. That is going to be a possible play. Chain Whirler, trigger on the stack, give it Death Touch, wipe the board. Yeah, I mean, a couple extra. Ooh, wow. I'm going to play Chandra to see if I can get a bit more value here. Just go ahead and use the Chandra to clear the board there. And then again, if he wants to start building up from there, he's got 2 cards left in hand. And we've got a Chandra on the battlefield that he needs to deal with. And we're moving on to the sideboard. Right, so that worked fairly well for us. Now, against this opponent, he's got flyers. So I'm probably bringing in the Phoenix again. So, I mean, we could volley veteran if we thought that he had a big dude or something like that. I don't see any reason for Chandra's defeat. We could abrade, but I believe the opponent's got quite a few like unblockable 1/1s. It's probably a favorable winds deck or something of that nature. So maybe abrade would be the right way to go. I think I'll just take out 2 Flame Lash for a couple of braid. And then we need to find some room for the Rekindling Phoenixes. I think we can reduce the converted mana cost just a hair here. And then I'm going to drop a Hazret, just because I don't think we need Hazret here. Worst case scenario, I mean, we get ready to go to attack, and the opponent's got some way to bounce something back or something like that. Hazret just doesn't feel right. I don't think we need this Fight with Fire either. I think a Braid is going to be quite good at just dealing with our opponent's creatures. So you don't know favorable wins with Mistcloak Herald. It's unblockable, so like creatures with. We'll see. I don't know. It's probably just mono blue wizards. So this hand's not horrible. I mean, we've got some some mitigation here, and then of course we can add a little to the board ourselves. And we do have lands to play things, so this will be perfectly fine. Yeah, I definitely keep this. I do like the fact that in the games that we've played so far, the deck has been quite good at just giving us decent hands with decent mana. So that's not bad. I like that. So we did get under the Wizard's Retort here. So the opponent's got the Wizard's Retort for this, I assume. We'll go ahead, attack, see what happens. Nothing happened. I think I'll pass. The opponent needs to do something at this point because we are ahead. We do have removal spells. Our opponent is kind of hurting on mana here. He needs to keep up, you know, a control element. So we're gonna go ahead and just keep crushing in, 2 at a time. I do think that I can get away with a Metallic Mimic here and keep up the Lightning Strike. So we'll just call Goblin and pass. Right, well, I definitely wanted to go ahead and try to get the Mimic down. I'm expecting like Recursion Mage or something. Tempest Gen, that is definitely a thing. It is a 4/4, so I 100% want to remove that. Even though I can play this Siege Gang should we just Siege Gang Commander here? I'm going to swing. I think we get 2 free points of damage in here without a block. I think this is our one shot at getting rid of this Gen without any real problems. He may have a Spell Pierce here, but if he does have a Spell Pierce, I was a little bit worried about that. Kind of hurts me that I didn't play the Siege Gang Commander. We do have Rekindling Phoenix. So, I mean, if it gets too serious, we can always just, you know, Rekindling Phoenix. Yeah, I mean, I was a little worried about the Spell Pierce. But we're also live to draw a... we're live to draw a... No, we're live to get countered by Wizard's Retort. So he'll draw an additional card. I was going to say we were live to draw a Goblin Chain Whirler and then burn that. But that's not exactly the case. I guess we just need to run the Siege Gang Commander into the Wizard's Retort. And we will swing. He takes the damage. We need to be able to get rid of this Siren Storm Tamer. Next turn we'll be able to play our Rekindling Phoenix and hold up Lightning Strike. Another Curious Obsession. Alright, so he's going to draw some cards. Two cards in hand for the opponent. And we will swing. We have no goblins right now. I do want to keep the pressure up. And we're going to go for the Rekindling Phoenix here. If this fails, then we might be in a little trouble. It did not fail. So Recursion Mage is the one thing we're slightly worried about. And that's game. It's going to tap down our Rekindling Phoenix, and then he hits us for 8 in the air. So, yeah, back to the sideboard. Okay. So I am going to bring the Fight with Fires in. And that's going to be it. That's all I'm going to do. Yeah, obviously being the more brutal. I just didn't expect him to play a Spell Pierce. I really didn't. Maybe I should have. Okay. It's not a bad hand. Definitely want to try to get that Chandra down. We want to stay in control. We should draw Goblins. This is a Goblins deck. So, here we go. I do need to remove that. And I'm not even going to wait around for him to untap. I'm just going to burn it right now. Yeah, I'm not for sure that it's favorable winds, but it very well could be. And I'm going to burn that as well. I just don't want him to have Wizard's Retort available for, you know, less than 3. I want him to pay full price for it if he's going to pay for it at all. Chart, of course. All right. If he doesn't have the Spell Pierce, then Chandra should be live here. So I'm going to play Chandra. I'm going to make mana. We're going to burn his dude and go from there. All right, so we'll exile the top card. It's a Goblin War Chief. I think that's perfectly fine to cast. If he counters it, that's fine. We can't block anyway, so I'm going to attack. If we run this into a Merfolk Trickster, that's fine. Yeah, the mono blue deck, it's a very nice deck. So he's pinging Chandra here. We're at 6, 7, 8. We'll exile the top card. Rekindling Phoenix. I think we try it. And we will swing. I'm not going to play around Merfolk Trickster. He hasn't had it yet or hasn't been willing to make an exchange. So, there. So we were looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We were at 9 mana next turn, so we were getting really close to that Fight with Fire. But yeah, that's the power of the Goblins deck, guys. We won 2 games there with it. GZA, nice deck, man. I do like it. It's pretty sweet. I like what you've done with it. I like that you put more stock into the mid game, and I think that's going to pay off for you, man. Sweet deck, and we're gonna move on. All right, here we've got mono white or low to the ground white aggro. A couple copies of Memorial of Glory. This will help make a couple extra or make 2 extra 1/1 white soldier creature tokens. The rest of the mana base is pretty straightforward. Plains and then Sheffet Dunes. Sheffet Dunes is just, you know, another Anthem effect for a single turn. And then, of course, you know, we've got a number of 1-drops, starting with Dauntless Bodyguard. Dauntless Bodyguard, just a good way to protect our creatures, but you can also just play it on turn 1, and you have a 2/1 beater, and, you know, a lot, like, Savannah Lions is the thing. So we've also got a couple copies of Legion's Landing, which will help us make more lifelinkers, but on turn 1 it's also a very good play. And then Leonin Vanguard. Leonin Vanguard's a really good card for just gaining us a little bit of extra life that can help trigger with a couple other things that I don't actually think are in this deck. If you had like a Johnny's Pride Maid or something like that, this card works really, really well with that. But you'll notice that most of these creatures do fit under that 2 power, and we'll talk about that as we get a little further up the mana curve. But as long as you control 3 or more creatures, you don't even have to attack with them. You're going to get +1 on your Vanguard, and then you're going to gain a life. Now, moving into the 2-drops, we have Adanto's Vanguard. As long as Adanto's Vanguard is attacking, it gets +2/+0, and then you can pay 4 life and block, or pay 4 life and make this indestructible. So it makes it great at carrying enchantments, swords, things of that nature. Then we've got Knight of Grace. Where would any mono white deck in Standard be right now without Knight of Grace? This card is absolutely phenomenal. Being able to protect itself from cards like Fatal Push, Vraska's Contempt, things of that nature. The first strike is actually quite relevant. Against anything that might have a black permanent, you're really going to do well here because you're going to have a 3-powered first striker with protection against black, so that's going to work great. And then, once we start going wide, and we very well can, Pride of Conquerors is going to give us a great combat trick or just a great finisher. If you have a Sin, it's going to give +2/+0 or +2/+2 into your entire team. If you do not have a Sin, it's just +1/+1. So either way, it still works pretty well. A couple copies of Seal Away. Oh, no art. A couple copies of Seal Away, which one of the better white removals for 2 mana in Standard right now. It is an enchantment-based removal, so if your opponent has enchantment hate, then they will be able to remove this, but it will exile the creature that is tapped. So they do have to tap, and sometimes opponents will play around this by not tapping a very, I lost the word, an important creature. So they may not tap it. Something like the Scarab God just may never turn sideways. So there's that. Now, there are a couple copies of Danitha Capashen, Paragon. And she has First Strike, Vigilance, and Lifelink. So she can get around Seal Away herself because she doesn't have to tap. But she's also got an extra line of text here. With auras and equipment spells you cast costs 1 less to cast. Now, you'll notice further down on the 3 mana slot, we have Forebearer's Blade, which if you do have Danitha out, it's going to cost only 2 mana to cast, and then 3 mana to equip. So for a turn 5, this works really, really well, as you can play it and equip it at the same time. This is going to add trample and +3/+0 to Danitha and to everything else. It's also going to give those creatures vigilance. The reason I say it that way is because Danitha already has vigilance. And then, of course, the card that all of you are talking about and that you love, Mentor of the Meek. Now, this is a great way to draw additional cards whenever a creature enters the battlefield that has power, or on your side, whenever another creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 1 mana, and if you do, draw a card. Very nice. 2/2 for 3 mana, so a little below that vanilla curve, but this pays off. That pays for itself just in sheer card advantage. Now, if your opponent does have a black permanent, your Knight of Grace will enter the battlefield as a 3/0 because all static-based effects will check before this goes onto the stack, so it will not pass the check for a Mentor of the Meek. So if there is that black permanent, you do need to worry about that. And that'll do it for the 3 drops. So let's move on up to the 4 drops. We do have 1 copy of Ixalan's Binding, kind of the catch-all. This will get just about anything. And then we have Leonin War Leader. Now, I played a lot with Brumos when Brumos was in Standard, and this card just really, really reminds me of that. Card was great. And here we've got a 4/4 for 4, so we are passing that vanilla test. And when it attacks, you get to create 2 1/1 white cat creature tokens with lifelink. They will be tapped and attacking. So you're going to be getting in You may be swinging with a couple of extra little dudes that may or may not bite the bullet, but that doesn't matter because when those enter, you will get a couple triggers on your Mentor of the Meek. So this card works really, really well with Mentor of the Meek. We've got a lot of really small, soft synergies here that seem like they're going to be great. And the last card in the main board, and I saved this for last because it's one of my favorite new Planeswalkers, Ajani, Adversary of Tyrants. The +1 on Ajani can really start to get away. You're going to be able to put 2 +1/1 counters on each of up to 2 target creatures. Now you can't put 2 +1/1 counters on one creature. You got to put a +1/1 counter on each of up to 2. So if you only have one creature out, you're only going to get 1 +1/1 counter. If you got multiple creatures out, you'll be able to do both. If you've got even more out, you'll be able to select the 2 that you want. And then, of course, his -2 will give us most of the deck back. So his -2 says return target creature with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. You don't even have to cast those, just -2, and bam, Bob's your uncle. Ajani's got you a new body. So a little bit of card advantage there, making your little dudes a little bit bigger. I think that the mono white aggro plans are going to really, really do well with Ajani come rotation. Of course, if you do happen to -7 Ajani and you get that emblem, at the beginning of your end step, you're going to create 3 1/1 white cat creature tokens with lifelink. And if any of you guys remember Elspeth, making 3 1/1s a turn is pretty mean. These have lifelink, so not bad. All right, moving on to the sideboard here. You guys probably seen the first couple cards. Authority of the Consuls. This is going to slow a lot of those aggressive decks down. If they're hoping to slam a blocker down, this is going to make that impossible. That we're still going to get in for one turn there. And then of course a couple of Sorcerer Spyglass, because Teferi and the Scarab God and things of that nature are real problems, and the Sorcerer Spyglass will help you deal with those. Now, Forsake the Worldly, man, we don't have art on it. Exile target artifact or enchantment. It is exile, so a lot of people do forget about that, but this is an exile effect, instant speed, 3 mana. But if you don't need it, you can always just cycle it away and try to find a card that you do need. Make a Stand. This is a lot like our Pride of Conquerors, but it's only ever going to give +1/+0, but it also gains indestructible. So this is your entire board is going to get that +1/+0 and gain indestructible. Works as a great combat trick and works really well to hedge against cards like Fumigate. Now, it will not save you much from something like Settle the Wreckage, but we're running Settle the Wreckage too, so we all know just how good Wrath to Exile is. Now, there is an additional copy of Ixalan's Binding here, along with a Lyra the Dawnbringer, or Lyra Dawnbringer. No art. Oh, no art. Lyra Dawnbringer, flying, first strike, lifelink. Other angels you control get +1/+1 and have lifelink. So that's going to be sharing its lifelink with cards like Shala, that is a 2-of here in the sideboard. Now, Shala is absolutely terrific, and we do not have any way to activate her second ability, but we do get that hexproof on ourselves and on our other creatures. So once we play Shala, they do have to answer it before they can answer us. So I've got a couple things I need to address here in chat, and we'll get into a game. You want more synergy with Danitha if she's being shown as a 3-of in this deck. Not much equipment. She's a life linker, man. She's going to gain some life, and she's going to trigger Mentor. She is still a 3-mana 2/2 with first strike and lifelink. You would run Shala because of her first couple of abilities in a mono white shell. So it makes sense that you would run someone who had, vigilance, lifelink, and first strike that was a 3-mana for its shell. So just kind of really getting that value out of that. So if that's the case, I get it that Danitha probably doesn't have a lot going for her here as far as, equipping and things like that, but I think it works just fine. And then, of course, we got some more people here in chat. Hope the Red-Black Goblins with Garna. I don't know about that. Rakdos Guild, are you guys even talking about this stream? Good trash with the... Yep. Nope, not talking to me, not talking to me, and moving on. we're going to jump into a game. All right, so we've got some early drops here, but we don't have much. Uh, we don't have much between these Leon and Vanguards and anything else, but we do have a couple lands, and we can start playing some stuff early. I am going to keep this. I do like the fact that we've got a Johnny, and if we do get to 4 mana, these War Leaders are going to be great. So we're going to try this. Now, this deck doesn't have things like removal, and most of the deck is going to be under 2 power, so blocking something with the likes of... Oh, wow. It's going to be a lot of life gain right here. Blocking something the likes of Still Leaf Champion is going to be difficult, but I think we can pull it off if we can get a couple more land. Our next turn is going to be pretty sweet. We're going to go Leon and Vanguard, and then we're going to have 3 creatures on turn 2 and receive 3 triggers, which should be great. Who shuffled this deck? Yeah, Hex Shuffler. Alright, so like I said, we will not be blocking this until after we get some more lands, and that one's going to help. So we're gonna play Leon and Vanguard. We're gonna play Leon and Vanguard. And this is really just going to help us hedge against... I'm just going to yield to this. Against the onslaught of damage coming in here. Opponent with a golden nut draw? I mean, that's a typical draw for the Stompy deck. I wouldn't say it's a nut draw. I would say it's just a really good opener. Kind of like if Grixis gets black mana into Aether Hub into Glint-Sleeve Siphoner. You know, he got a couple green lands, Land of War Elf, and happened to have his Still Leaf Champion. So I'm not going to say that it's a nut draw, but it's definitely a good draw. Wow, wants to get in with the Land of War as well. I am not going to block. Looks like a Blossoming Defense could be in the works for us here. Servant of the Conduit. And a Greenbelt Rampager. He has 2 energy off the Servant of the Conduit, and he did spend those. So we do need to draw an additional land. I do expect the opponent has a Blossoming Defense. So again, I'm just going to pass until we can get a little larger. I would be willing to lose Danitha here if he swung with something like Serpent of the Conduit. I assume that he swings with everything. Oh, just Greenbelt, and I think we can take this 8. And we're probably looking at something quite large here in the second main, which could be very problematic. There we go. Now we can start growing a little. I'm just going to pick a couple of these guys, make them bigger. We'll move to attacks. I will swing with Danitha, which this could be bad. He could just put a Servant of the Conduit in front of it and then Blossoming Defense it. Looks like he's considering that play. It will allow him to kill our Ajani, which means I probably should have waited here. Oh no. Alright. I mean, we could block with this, and we probably will. We are back at 18 now. So, as you can see, even without a sword, Danitha is quite capable of defending us. So, I'm no longer thinking the opponent has a Blossoming Defense. This is why you like green-black to mono-green? Understood. We will have to do a little blocking here. Not really interested in letting Ajani die. Honestly, I would just really love to be able to keep her, but unfortunately I don't think that's going to be a possibility. So that's coming at Ajani. I assume Greenbelt Rampager comes at Ajani as well. Or, not Greenbelt, but Still Leaf Champion comes as well. So Greenbelt at me. And Still Leaf at Ajani. So we're going to get only Still Leaf Champion here. Okay, so Greenbelt is going to show up. Is going to show up. All right. So I'm just going to block here, and then we're going to sacrifice our Danitha, which is okay. We wanted to keep the one with the +1/1 counter on it. Scrap Heap Scrounger. Ooh, Dauntless Bodyguard. Well, I am just going to play the War Leader. We'll put +1/1 counters here and here. And we'll accept our couple triggers here off the Leon and Vanguard. Well, it also has the payoff of being just really mean. So, there's that too. Like, you don't have to have Blanchwood armor to be able to do some really crazy things. Pure consistency is a good payoff. So I'm not going to say that Blanchwood armor is the only payoff to playing mono green. But it looks like he might have a little bit of black mana in the deck somewhere. So I'm not going to say that it is not the green-black version. I expect that next game we probably see some green-black lands. Right, Bodyguard plus War Leader would be great. I do want to protect this Ajani as much as possible. We will see how that goes, though. At Ajani. Everything at Ajani. We'll move to blocks. I'm going to block here. So, I mean, at least we get to... I'm going to block everything. If he doesn't have the Blossoming Defense, then we're going to be in a fairly decent shape with... okay, so this is good. We'll go Danitha. We'll go Dauntless Bodyguard. I'm actually going to pick my War Leader. And I'm going to go +1/+1 counters on both Danitha and the War Leader. And now he will need to like sacrifice his Haship Oasis or that nature. We are looking at ultimating a Johnny here very soon. So there is that. There's a very good chance that a Johnny will allow us to get ahead of this mono green deck. I may be greedy and try to tick a Johnny up one more time. He may just all-out swing to get at least some damage towards a Johnny. And if he does, we may be okay with that. War Leader is a beast. It is, and as soon as we get to start turning it sideways, it's going to be terrific. I mean, without something like Blossoming Defense, what's up, Lee? Without something like Blossoming Defense, we're not really worried about anything that's currently on the board, and the opponent doesn't have great attacks other than just sacrificing his board to us without Blossoming Defense. I mean, if he has Blossoming Defense, then he can probably make some decent attacks, especially since, you know, he can make sure that Sea Leaf Champion kills the War Leader. Everything else we're going to try to block with although he's not going to kill the War Leader because we've got a Dauntless Bodyguard, you know, standing there. I got you! I got you! Yeah, War Leader with Mentor combos very well. If we can ultimate this and have a Mentor on the battlefield, that will combo as well too. I'm not worried about Scrap Heap blocking. That's not the... I'm trying to be on the defensive so that we can try to win with this a Johnny ultimate. The plan here is to make sure that my creatures get larger and larger. It's really hard to face off against mono green without having some quite large creatures. So that's kind of where I want to be with this. We have kept our life total up significantly high, so that's been good. We will move to blocks. And if he's still got that Blossoming Defense, we'll see it. Alright. Damage. So first strike damage kills the Scrap Heap Scrounger. Wow. 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 We should be entering scoop phase any moment now. Yeah, I can't believe he made those swings without some way to protect it. I was just, like, assuming there was a Blossoming Defense there. Fight with Fire is still a card. I'm going to also assume this has got, like, maybe this is his only way of making black mana, and he plans on bringing the Scrap Heap Scrounger back, or something of that nature. Those Leonin Vanguards definitely did their job. Don't scoop, opponent! Don't scoop! I don't think he's going to scoop. He continued to play, so... he's using that black mana, bringing the Scrap Heap Scrounger back. We'll play the Memorial to Glory. I'm going to... both of these. I'm going to play the other War Leader. And we're going to swing with these. So we're swinging with a 7/7 that's going to make a couple extra life-linking cats. We're going to have Danitha here. She's going to be able to, sit back on guard duty for us. She's going to gain us even more life. Yeah, this is going to get out of hand for the opponent really quick. I did. I went the greedy route. I'm gonna keep ticking a Johnny up, and yeah. Greed, greed, greed. All right. Again, we're gaining even more life. We're at 32 now, and we'll pass the turn. If he doesn't have a way to deal with a Johnny on this very turn, we will 100% be completely ahead of him. Like I don't think there's any coming back. He may be able to come up with something, but an ultimate at a Johnny and it still being on the battlefield, this is going to get out of hand. Yeah, there we go. The opponent seen the writing on the field, on the wall, and there it goes. Okay, so against an opponent like this, I don't think that I want much more than Settle the Wreckage, Lyra, and Shala. Now, we could use the extra Ixalan's Binding. Dauntless Bodyguard is going to be great. Pride of Cause. Seal Away is going to be absolutely terrific. I'm actually going to cut a couple Forebearers Blades. I don't think that we need it for any reason. When a creature dies, you may, when the equipped creature dies, you can just attach it to something else. I don't think that's what we need. I mean, we're going to have to be really quick in the early game, and this is not really going to be feasible until after like turn 5 or 6. So I don't really want a Forebearer's Blade here. Actually, don't like the card at all. Yeah, I just don't think the deck needs it. And then I do want the flying blockers here, like Shala and things of that nature. But I think that we can run it very close to the way we have it right now. Pride of Conquerors is going to be very good to give us just that little extra buff. I'm looking for a card that we can possibly cut, and it's possibly Legion's Landing. That could be wrong. I do want to keep my combat tricks here. Make a Stand was calling out to me to bring in, as you know, you're getting that indestructible and things of that nature. But I think we're going to go this route. You're bringing your Bant list next week, and hope it does well. I'm going to be going to the top meta decks in the format, and so that's going to definitely test its limits and what needs to change. There you go. We do have the Mentor of the Meek play this game. I will start with a turn 1 Leon and Vanguard and kind of go from there. We'll see how well the opponent opens up with his hand. He did mulligan to 6 though, so we'll see. Blue mana. So maybe it's Sultai. So we'll just get that Vanguard in. Mentor Wombo combo. For those of you wanting to know what he's talking about with the combo, you get a Mentor down, and then you start turning your Leon and War Leader sideways. You're looking at drawing some additional cards every single turn, and that works pretty well. I'm going to go ahead and play this Dauntless Bodyguard out. May seem wrong, may seem a little aggressive, but since our opponent hasn't really done anything, I am trying to be a little aggressive. Wolf Breacher. I assume that the Breacher was you, Jack. You'd play the Dauntless too. It's just an aggressive play. And it works with the curve. because we get to play, you know, mentor on the following turn, and then the turn after that we're going to play war leader, and then from there we're just going to be kind of trying to go ham. How are the guys doing tonight? Or how the game's going? Well, so far we played 2 games with the Goblins because you know, game 1 we the opponent just scooped on us, and then we played another game and we won that one, and then we've now entered Adventurous Impulse. We've now entered into game 2, match 2 here, or our first match with this deck. We're on the second deck. Man, that just made that so convoluted, right? There are 2 Jacks in chat. My bad, my bad. I was talking about Jack Breacher. My bad. It's going to get to a point, you know, where we have 2 of, like, we've got 2 Jameses here. We've got 2 Jacks here. You know, if we have a second Madness or, you know, a second Rush, I'm going to start, you know, like, okay, get a little weird, guys. But, you know, those having multiple first names, that, my bad. If what I said didn't match anything you typed, then I probably wasn't talking to you. Just assume I was talking to someone else and it was relevant, right? Give me the benefit of the doubt. Seems like we're playing a different deck now. Weird, right? I said that he was a deck that got a little mana screwed, maybe. I thought we would be seeing black mana. We did not. We may get this Essence Scattered. This is probably one of the first creatures we've... oh, wow. If he merfolks me, alright, I'm going to be like, what is going on? So is there a chance that that 1 or 2 cards that he had in hand that he didn't use in the first game were just like blue spells? Lincoln's knocking at my door. Alright. What did he reveal here? A Hinterland Harbor? Okay. Thrashing Brontodon. Well, isn't that a thing? Not going to swing. Just no need to swing yet. Again, we can just kind of wait until we get that that setup going. If we wait till we get the city's blessing and we ascend, we can Pride of Conquerors and do some crazy things to the opponent here. Ronus the Indomitable. Well, that's going to be really bad when he Blossom and defenses this Brontodon. It's going to be really bad. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. We can do this. I don't think I want to attack with my mentor. I'm not going to risk it. We'll wait for him to, you know, try to... Yeah, we're definitely going to draw the cards off of mentor. So we're going to say yes. We'll draw a card. We're going to say okay. And then we're going to say yes again. We're going to draw another card. And I assume he Blossoming defenses this to make the Ronus block, like be able to block, which that's okay. We're still gonna hit for quite a bit, and we're going to make him take quite a bit. So we'll see what happens. Ronus has Death Touch, so whatever he blocks there, it's kind of going to be over for us. So we might lose our Wombo combo here, but we do have the City's Blessing now. Well, we have 10 permanents. We haven't actually ascended and gotten the City's Blessing, but we do have 10 permanents. So, oh wow, Yeah. I'm just going to go ahead and Pride of Conquerors here. Now this will check for a sin first, give us a city's blessing, and then we're going to get +2/+2. Negate. Okay. Well, we do have the option of sacrificing Dauntless Bodyguard. So, I mean, he cast a negate there. To be able to inspire Leon in Vanguard? I think it's worth it, like, to give up 2 points of damage here to protect the little life gain guy. And so next turn we're looking at I'm going to play the Dauntless Bodyguard. I'm going to select the Leonin War Leader. We do not have the mana to pay for this. So we're just going to say no. Maybe we should have chose the Mentor of the Meek. But right now, I actually think the Leonin War Leader is the real threat. I wish this could be done at instant speed instead of sorcery. We could wait till we get the next 2 cats, then do it. We did not get the city's blessing there, though. That did not happen. So now he can swing and block with his Ronus. Or swing or block with his Ronus. He does have 1 card left in hand. Is it transformative? I think he's mono green with a little bit of you know, control in the spell and the sideboard. All right, so we could pump the field, swing that way, or we could Knight of Grace, draw a card. Swing with War Leader. Okay. We'll move to combat. We'll gain a life here. Now there's some things we're just not worried about here, and just going to keep getting sideways. That's a pretty good draw. I am going to continue drawing. So we've definitely got the opponent on the defensive here. I assume that he's got to put like Ronus or something in front of our War Leader. And if he wants to eat this, he can. He will be taking 3 points of damage here, though. And we're going to gain some life. Really? Works fine for me. So he's actually going to take 4 points of damage. I like that. Now anything that he swings at us with, which I don't think he can swing at us. So, yeah, I'm going to have a hard time finding a way to lose this, I think. Minus River's Rebuke. River's Rebuke would be quite devastating. I mean, we could probably recover from it because eventually, after he River's Rebukes, he's gonna want to swing. So, yeah. I just don't think the opponent can swing at us. Anyone else watching foosball? Well, you're asking the people on the stream that you're watching, are they watching football too? I'm going to say that's amazing. Like, football is one of the most watched things in the country. And the fact that for some of you, I am side by side with football, yeah, it's quite amazing. Well, low to the ground, mono white aggro, guys. We definitely got to see. So I forget who it was that was talking about you didn't like her in the deck. What do you think about her after seeing her without a sword? Do you think she warrants a place? Just having first strike vigilance and the extra line of text. Do you think she warrants a place? I like her. I think that I think she's more powerful than a lot of people are giving her credit for. And if there were some really good auras and equipments that you could attach to her, then she would be even more powerful. So. I like her. I guess she's all right. There you go. Craziness just happened. Well, gotcha. Are you jumping up in your living room going, "Oh my God!" And you look around, you've got nobody else to talk. Who else is watching this? Right? You still have mixed feelings because she dies to all red burn, even shocks, and red is so popular. Gotcha. That's definitely understandable. But, you know, if you can get down a Dauntless Bodyguard, you could protect her, maybe, right? What have you missed? The first two decks. You missed Goblins, and then you missed Mono White. The decks ran really, really good. So, yeah. Go off on about Merfolk. Well, if you want the Lord's plan, play Merfolk. Merfolk is better at it. Modern has more islands than it has forests. Probably. That may not be a true statement. All right. So yeah. Yeah. I just think that if you want to go I would rather play Elf Ball than that. Speaking of modern, our last deck here is a modern deck. We've got Izzet Burn, and I don't know what to say about the deck. The deck is a thing. We've got 4 lands. We've got 4 islands. Looks like we have 6 mountains here, and then we have Spire Bluff Canal. We have Steam Vents and Sulphur Falls. So we do have, you know, our shock lands, which are about to be reprinted, and then we have the Sulphur Falls, which the shock lands will bring Sulphur Falls in untapped, and then of course Spire Bluff Canal is an early fast land. Now I am not real big on these particular lands in modern, but I mean, Steam Vents is great. Steam Vents is great, gets a lot of play in modern, but yeah, this is what we got. Sage of what? It's a human wizard, and when it enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library, and then put them back in any order. Okay. It doesn't fly. It's just a wizard. I like that you can fix your next couple draws, but you have absolutely no way to get rid of those without a fetch land to shuffle those away. So I do believe that if you had fetch lands and you had a way to shuffle, so you would crack a fetch land, you'd shuffle the Sage away, and then from there you would be able to, you know, you would put the cards you want to draw. After drawing those, then go ahead and shuffle. That would work. Serum Visions here, you can draw a card, and then Scry 2. And then, of course, Spell Pierce. We seen that played earlier, and it stopped our Chandra. Of course, Lightning Bolt. If you're going to be in red, you kind of got to run some Lightning Bolts, right? Monastery Swift Spear. Not a wizard, but she's got prowess all by herself. Does not need Adeliz to help her out. Soul Scar Mage. This is a wizard. Also has prowess. Very good card, and it may get more modern play. We'll see. Now, moving on up to the 2-drops, we've got a couple copies of Negate. Izzet Charm. Now, Izzet Charm counter target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 2. So it does have Spell Pierce attached to it. But it's got some other abilities, and you get to choose one of those. The other ability is deals 2 damage to target creature. Or you can draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. So a little bit of Faithless Looting action. A little bit of, you know, shock damage there. Or just, you know, Spell Pierce. Now, Storm Chaser Mage. This one's kind of, it's prowess. So, I mean, the real idea here is this is kind of, you know, is it prowess more than is it burn? But there are quite a few burn spells here. Rift Bolt. Now, this is one of those suspend. You can cast it for 3, but you can suspend it for 1, and then it will come off of suspend your next turn, and you will be able to deal 3 damage to any target. Just gives you an extra way to deal a lightning bolt or use lightning bolts. You can also, you know, suspend it, and then your opponent has to think about what they're going to play because, you know, you've got that, they know that bolt is coming. Wizard's Lightning, because what's better than 4 bolts? 8 bolts, right? Or what's better than 6? Let's go 10. Adeliz, when we're, you know, just going off, you know, cast bolt, 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 pump all of our other wizards. This is effectively giving prowess to some of our other creatures. Now, again, Monastery Swift Spear will not receive that, but those that do have wizards, or those that are wizards, will receive this benefit along with their own prowess triggers. So we're talking about a lot of power really quick. And then, of course, Bedlam Reveler. Bedlam Reveler gets a lot of play in the Mardu list, and this card is no joke. I played with it a lot in Standard. It wasn't as great in Standard, but it was a lot of fun, and we're going to be playing with it here. It gets cheaper for every instant and sorcery card in your graveyard. It does have prowess, but when it enters the battlefield, you're going to discard your hand and draw 3 cards. So you normally want this to be one of your last creatures that you played. Now, moving on to the sideboard here, we do have 3 copies of Tormod's Crypt because apparently someone does not want to lose to graveyard shenanigans. Now, Tormod's Crypt is one-sided graveyard hate, so Eric isn't paying attention to your opponent. I'm sorry, Jack. But is it burn? The Izzet jokes. Every time. Every time you play an Izzet deck, there's always Izzet jokes. That's good. I isn't paying attention to your opponent. Tormod's Crypt. Sacrifice Tormod's Crypt. Exile all cards from target player's graveyard. Grafdigger's Cage here. This means that creature cards in graveyards and libraries can't enter the battlefield. Players can't cast spells from graveyards or libraries. So this is 4 cards for Graveyard Hate. This one works extremely well at dealing with something like Snapcaster Mage, which I actually think probably should have been in this deck. 4 copies of Snapcaster Mage over, you know, the Sage or something like that probably would have been absolutely phenomenal. Disdainful Stroke. Being able to counter anything with converted mana cost 4 or greater, you know, the Jace, Bloodbraid Elf, things like that. So, yeah. Boros said he made a version of mono board wipes deck, played against the other day. Would it be something everyone would be willing to see in a stream? Well, you would you'd have to put it on the Reddit and see if it gets the votes, unless you want to, you know, purchase the deck tech and stuff for it. Roast here, dealing 5 damage to target creature without flying. This is going to really help us against Gurmag Anglers and, you know, Tassigurs, things of that nature. Searing Blood. I like this card. Searing Blood, you know, deals 2 damage to target creature, but when that creature dies, Searing Blood is going to deal 3 damage to its creature's controller. So even more bolts. Dampening Sphere, because no one wants to lose to Tron or Storm. And then a couple copies of Banefire. Not a card that I actually expected to see in Modern at all. but it can't be countered as long as you can cast it for 6 or greater. I don't really think we are going to be doing that with a 21 land deck, but who knows? We will see. Roast really reminds me of playing Jeskai Black back in the day. The Jeskai Black deck was pretty good. So, all right, so we're gonna go to Modern. Select our Izzet burn. Is it? Is it burn? Is it not burn? Well, I guess we'll find out. You still need to make an online list of your unsealing deck. Been caught up with college stuff and been distracted from it. That happens, man. Sometimes life gets ahead of Magic, you know. All right. Well, we do have some fast mana here, so we are going to be able to do some things, and I kind of like what we got going on. I think that I want to get my creatures out and then start casting some spells. I'm going to keep this Monastery Swiftspear hand. I'm not a really good hand at playing Burn in Modern, so I'm just going to, I guess, try to go, you know, all on. We'll see what the opponent's got going on here. Boy, Lincoln is mad. Turn 1, Taylor Swiftspear. Turn 2, Taylor Swiftspear. Suspend Bolt. I may wait. If we draw another land, I may not suspend Bolt till turn 3. We'll see. Depends on if I draw another land. I mean, that's currently probably what we've got going on. We don't actually have to get into a major hurry with it here. Like, we can wait another turn. So when the opponent tries to do something, and I assume he's going to try to do something by turn 2, we can Spell Pierce. If we can stop our opponent from getting set up, we might be doing all the things right. I guess we can go ahead and suspend the Bolt, though. Alright. So yeah, we'll go ahead and suspend Bolt. Our opponent's going to go ahead and sack. You love burn decks? You know, not fond of playing them or playing against them, so not really fond of burn decks. Not like this. Hello, mates. What's up? How you doing? Not like this. Welcome to the stream, sir. Okay. Okay, opponent. Hey, got a hollowed fountain. It's going to enter tapped. Doesn't want to take additional damage. Why don't I like them? They're actually a lot harder to play than a lot of people would give credit for. I'm not one of those people that's going to be. It's just a burn deck. I don't like playing decks that are really going to depress my opponent. I mean, who do you think I am, Zaxadillo here? Come on. So I'm not really fond of that. Of like anything that's going to make my opponent like just straight up depressed. This is a wizard. I am going to play again around this this destruction spell here. So I'm expecting something like Path to Exile. I am doing great. We're playing Subscriber Sunday, and things are coming along nicely. I'm going to do it. If he's got a path, I think we would have seen it already. This may have just made them worth pathing. And he scooped. He scooped it up. It would have been at 3. Alright. So don't think the opponent's going to have a lot of creatures. I mean, we could like save this for, you know, Snapcaster Mages, things like that. I am going to bring in Disdainful Stroke. Taking out Storm Chaser Mage. Yeah, I'm just going to take out Storm Chaser Mage and we'll run it back. And it's a deck, Modern Burn, and it's a deck you love playing. It's funny because you love play Modern Burn and hate standard red deck wins. Yeah, I just don't like playing decks that make my opponents just hate life and not want to play. Like I like to play, you know, deep interactive games. We go on into the late game where, you know, we're both definitely trying to find, you know, that great line and things like that. That's really going to, you know, get us there. That doesn't always become the case in standard. But hey, you know, that's a thing. We don't have any blue mana to get out this Storm Chaser Mage, but we can start doing some burn. And this is a burn deck, so we are going to be pointing some stuff at the face. We could draw blue mana. We'll see. I'll go ahead and suspend the Rift Bolt, and we'll pass. So we're going to shoot the opponent for 1 here. Soulscar Mage, that's not bad. That's going to turn on Wizard's Lightning, which I will use before I use Lightning Bolt. Thought Scour. Alright, so he's Thought Scouring himself. He milled a Thought Scour and an Opt. Search for Azcanta. Okay, so he's going to hang on. Oh, blue mana. Cast Opt. Serum Visions. We've got that. It's a good card. It's about all that's left in Modern. They got rid of the, you know, Ponders, Preordains, things like that. They're really careful on, you know, printing 1 mana cantrips. I think most of the good abilities of 1 mana cantrips have already been played, so oh wow. We will attack. We'll bolt him to the face. We'll bolt him again. So, I mean, this is 9 damage right here. The opponent's at 8. And if we ever draw some blue mana, we should be in a fairly decent situation. The opponent does have to worry about getting, you know, to a low life total here. No blue mana. Just 2 red. We are just going to keep chipping in here. I mean, what is the miracles or something? All I've seen is cantrip, cantrip, cantrip. I have no clue what we're playing against. We just really need a blue source. You're so easily sidetracked. You're not the only one. Sentinel Totem will be more popular since it doesn't take mana to crack. There's already really good cards in Modern that do these sort of things, so we are to the point where he wants to answer this. Colonnade. We will bolt the Colonnade. Prowess trigger and the neg 1/1 counters will be very relevant. Oh, Dispel. You got us, opponent. We do not have an extra. Colonnade is a really good card here. I actually wasn't expecting a Dispel, but we should have, you know, something of that nature. But it is a flying, vigilant, big dude, you know. So, now he's digging. He's digging. Come on, Blue Land. Where you at? That's it. We need opt. What did he reveal? An opt. Now he's going to cast the opt. More Modern. Well, we've already, yeah, we've got Relic of Progenitus. We've got Tormod's Crypt. We've got, there's quite a few really good ways. Nihil Spellbomb to deal with graveyards. Nihil Spellbomb costs 1 mana. Doesn't cost anything to activate. But if you did decide to stick 1 black mana into it, you can draw a card. Relic of Progenitus doesn't cost anything to actually sack the graveyard, though it does, doesn't it? It's 1 to sack the graveyard, I think, but you get to draw a card off of it as well. I don't think the new. Ooh, wow. Well, at least we don't have creatures, so he didn't get creatures. Just sitting here with no land. I'm not going to scoop though because I mean we've got some cards in hand. There's some things we can do, so we'll see what happens. Snapcaster Mage. Opting. It does not stop GPG from using the graveyard. You are right. Looks like the opponent's going to try to end this as quickly as possible here. He's swinging 6 per turn, so at current rate, we've only got 3 turns left. No blue mana. We started out so well, guys. Get rid of the Disdainful Stroke. And I will see one more card, but I don't think we get there. Spell Queller. That's going to do it. That's going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go to game 3. Here we go. Okay. So he is going to have some creatures. I'm going to get rid of... I'm going to bring the Disdainful Strokes in. I'm going to get rid of the Negates. And We're going to try to be as aggressive as possible and kind of hope the opponent doesn't have a way to stop. Maybe we don't need that many Searing Bloods. And I'm going to run it like this. Grafdigger's Cage is the one that I was speaking of. It's a really good card. I'll pull it up here for you in a second. Dying of thirst here. Yeah. We just need a drink. Where's the island? Just need a little blue. Cut a Pierce. This is a pretty decent hand. I mean, we don't have a lot of burn, but man, we're going to go crazy with creatures. I think we Monastery Sphere first. Just because it can attack on turn 1. See, this is looking much better already. I mean, when these type of decks get their creatures online and they get to swinging, and I mean, heaven forbid we draw something like Lightning Bolt, we're going to be doing okay. Wow, he paid for it. I don't know if he meant to. Okay, he's going to Thought Scour himself. Wow, he paid for that Thought Scour. That's serious. He needs an answer now. Thought Scour again, milled a land, and a Jace the Mind Sculptor. That's why I was originally bringing in the Disdainful Strokes against Jace the Mind Sculptor. But doesn't look like we're really going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and play the Soulscar Mage. And we're just going to pass. He's at 11. We can burn him down to 8, 9, 10. So 8, 6, 4. Yeah, we're lethal next turn here. If he can't answer one of the creatures on the board, we're lethal. Without even drawing anything else. Opt. Wow, opponent. The opponent has went through 10 cards. He's got 10 cards in the graveyard. And, I mean, it's his turn 3. So, we're going to go to turn 4 here. Cast the Wizard's Lightning. Okay, so he does have something like Path to Exile or something here. Yeah. Alright, so we got a Soulscar Mage. I'll get another blue source. Why not? Well, we miss lethal by just a hair. Oh, now he's going to dispel it. And we'll pass. Kind of getting flooded now. So, Lightning Bolt off the top would be terrific. Oh, man, we're going to need more than a Lightning Bolt. Maybe I should have kept that land in hand. I am going to swing. If he wants to put multiples in front of each one, then that's fine. If he doesn't, then we're just going to keep going. Okay. So now he's going to need even more timely reinforcements to survive. I mean, trading one Soulscar Mage for 2 of his dudes seems good. How do you get to keep one? I thought he put it in front of Taylor Swift Sphere. Snapcaster Mage, I assume into a path. we'll definitely take a little deck thinning here. Searing Blaze would be so epic. He's still got 6 cards in hand. We've spent our shot here. Like it's over. Just trying to not say that other phrase, right? Once again, all understandable. You started playing MTG back in late 2013 when Duels of the Planeswalker came out. 2014 came out, and Duels of the Planeswalker 2013 was free on Xbox. It's actually a really good way to learn to play Magic. I think we need to deal with this Jace. Like, I would love to just draw Lightning Bolt, though. I mean, we will play the Storm Chaser Mage. We'll attack Jace. I mean, he is going to get to do more, you know, brainstorm effects. So he did look at the top card of our library. He may put that card on the bottom of the library. He put a card. He left it on top, which is weird. I guess it was better than Lightning Bolt. So Snapcaster Mage, maybe Thought Scour or Timely Reinforcements. Opt. Okay. Cast Opt. Can't he cast Timely Reinforcements? Terminus! Well, miracles, ladies and gentlemen. I watched Reed Duke draw to the Miracles deck in Legacy. And the opponent looked at him after the opponent spent like 30 minutes of their time in game 2. Reed was playing really fast. And he looked at Reed and was like, "Would you be willing to scoop to me?" And Reed simply looked at him and said, "No." And he said, "Okay then." Well, that would have been nice to have in our hand, right? Yeah, well, this is what Miracles does. Plays against Burn pretty well. Yeah, we just drew way too many lands. Of course, 2 of those lands came from Path to Exile. So, I guess we're going to... I mean, from what I can see here, it looks like we're going to be diving into Modern a little bit from time to time. I hate Modern, but it's a playable format. So, we'll see. I think we're, like, dead and just don't know it yet. There's no point in playing these mountains. There's nothing in the deck we could draw and not be able to play. Pierce a turn late, story of your life, right? I got you, buddy. It's cool to see Search for Escanta being powerful enough for Modern. I mean, being able to look, you know, at 4 cards in a Modern deck and, you know, putting the best one in your hand or the best one for a given situation in your hand seems pretty good. He does have, you know, fetches here, so I'll play Adelise. I'm going to swing at Jace. Jace down, but that does not make me think that he doesn't have another Jace. So, or that he can't just go get another Jace. He got a Dispel. Dispel's a pretty good card. I mean, it's just straight counter target instant. BSA Baneslayer. Well, this is be difficult considering Baneslayer has lifelink. And the way to beat these decks is gain about 7 life. And if you can gain about 7 life, then there's not a lot they can do. And at this point, he will have gained 6 from the timely reinforcements. And then 5 more from the Baneslayer beat down here. And for those of you who don't know, Baneslayer is quite a beatdown. So you have issues building tons of decks you brew up. Yeah, the Baneslayer is going to be it, Poopy. It's the Baneslayer is going to poopy on us. Hey, look. We can play this. Don't think that matters. I don't think we can outrun Baneslayer. I'm gonna this. This way we at least negate Baneslayer's last attack. As far as goes. That's Baneslayer, Angel. Good game. I mean, he just paid for it. And then there's a Path to Exile. I'm going to go ahead and concede, guys. Miracles got to the Baneslayer Angel, and we weren't going to get ahead of that. That's the whole point of them printing Lyra and things like that, to be able to give you that aspect. That's modern. That's modern, guys. It's very hard to play around with new decks. It's very hard to play around with decks that aren't already proven in Modern. Modern is a solid format where typically you want to take a deck that is already very proven and then just get really, really good with that deck. It's not a place where you want to brew and play and enjoy yourself if you're a brewer. And I'm a brewer. I like to brew different decks, and I like to play with different ideas and things like that. And most of the time, cut the list to 5 to 8 lands total. I think that with Modern, you should probably just pick a really good deck. It may take you a while to get there, and you can kind of brew with the cards that you don't have for that deck as you're getting them. But you should always keep in mind there's a reason these decks have won. There's a reason these decks have been played in certain ways. And the good thing about Modern is you can look back over quite a bit of time and see different versions of decks. Kind of like elves. You know, there's elf decks that have come and gone, and some of them look like mine, some of them look like merfolk. But I'm still on that madness. I'm still on it. Not like, yeah, whatever. Anyway, Modern's just one of those things. I just don't think that Modern's a place where you want to brew and kind of, you know, try to have fun and things like that. You can do it, but yeah. Stick to Standard if you want to brew. That's going to be my takeaway. You know, like, just stick to Standard if you want to brew. If you want to get into Modern, get a good chosen deck and play it. Play a lot of it. Play it against as many matchups as you possibly can, and take it from there. Let it go, bro. Let it go. Elsa's book. You talking about like Frozen? I didn't watch Frozen. I know who Elsa is, but it's a little blonde girl that like spins around and around during that one song, right? You thought Modern was for brewing more than Standard? No, Modern has cards, and anytime you brew in Modern, you just get crushed by the big decks. No, I definitely don't think Modern is a brewer's playground. Yeah. I still get the joke. right? Yeah, let it go. Oh, that's the name of the song. Yeah, right. What a ditz. What? Huh? Yeah, I still don't think modern's where you go. Go to brew. Guys, that's all we've got. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, modern 100% has that elitist feel. Modern is where you're it's where you want to get like more skill intensive, I guess. You really need to know those matchups. You need to know those matchups and your deck. You don't want to make sideboard mistakes. Like when you come up against a deck, you want to already know this is coming out, this is going in, that sort of thing. You will run into brews and things like that into modern, which can throw you off a little bit. But for the most part, when you get into, top tier modern, or you start getting towards the end of a modern tournament, you're not playing a bunch of different brews. You're playing just straight up like the top decks that people have spent a lot of time brewing on, or not brewing on, but working with, and they know those decks in and out, and they know exactly how to use that deck to beat you in the face with. So that's where modern's at. So I mean, definitely going to say that if you guys want to play more modern, I will play it. And if you guys keep posting modern decks to the the Reddit, I will play that. Man, Jack, I'm holding it up for you here, buddy. I'm hoping you can read it. So yeah, if you keep putting them on Reddit and they keep getting the votes, I'll play them. If we do well or we don't do well, then that's up to the deck, I guess. How it feeds me the cards, things like that. But yeah, I would rather stick to standard, and I could probably give a lot more advice on standard than you'd rather watch brewed decks. Then you're in the right place. We're still going to play brewed decks. This is Sideboardmtg. I do try to play a ton of decks, and I try to play a ton of decks that are brewed by a ton of people. I guess we should get to the channel update really quick for the week. What we got going on this week? We've got some devs decks that I want to catch up on. I got about 3 devs decks I want to run this week, and then from there we can get into other things. So we're going to be playing some devs decks this week. So those of you that do like devs deck and you want to see those, we're going to be playing some of those. Those are brews. Then we're going to be playing whatever was good this weekend. I don't even know. I haven't seen the deck lists that have been posted, but I'm going to play one of the top 1, 2, or 3 decks from this weekend. So anything that is posted from this weekend, I'm going to find a top tier deck. We're going to play some tier magic. We're going to play some brews. We're going to play some devs decks. We're going to do that. I am going to try to continue playing modern about once a week. So yeah. There we go. That's what I got going on, and I'm also going to be trying to do my midday streams on Twitch this week. I have no clue what I'm going to be doing on Twitch, what decks I'm going to be playing. I may be playing some of my brews, maybe playing whatever, but I'm going to be doing some Twitch streaming this week. We're going to Wednesday. We're going to be doing the private stream where we go through Reddit, surfing Reddit. We're going to be doing that. So that'll be a lot of fun. And we'll look at everything that's been posted since last Wednesday, and we'll give some feedback on those. So that should be a ton of fun. Now remember, guys, you're not bound to just give me a modern deck. We can play Legacy, Vintage, things like that. If you guys want to do that, we can play those. I have access to most of the cards. If it's not playable, if I can't get the cards, I'll let you guys know. But yeah. Dampening Sphere ain't good enough to kill him. Maybe not. Maybe not. But can't forget about Tron or Just Got Control or Mono Blue Merfolk or the rest of Modern. Yeah, you're right, Madness. There's a ton of really good decks in Modern. Tron. Right. But yeah, that's what we've got going on this week. We're going to be doing some midday Twitches, some late night devs decks. But yeah, there we go. Alpine Moon's not that great. I would rather Blood Moon than Alpine Moon, but Alpine Moon's good, I guess. I just think that Blood Moon's like better overall to hit like bigger decks or whatever, or hit more decks. But yeah, that's that. It is what it is. So yeah, I think Blood Moon. I think Blood Moon's the better card than Alpine Moon. Everybody's like, "Ooh, 1 mana Alpine Moon is gonna do it." No, no. I mean, you're gonna tell that to Madman Saffron Olive, right? And well, we'll see. It does slow down Tron quicker. I mean, they're going to turn 3. You're going to turn 3. I don't know. I like Blood Moon because it's just better against more matchups. Like, Blood Moon's good against even something like Grixis that might have Lightning Bolts in it. So, okay. Alpine on the draw is 1,000 or 10,000 times better than Blood Moon against Tron, but on the play, Blood Moon still beats Tron. Yeah. I mean, there's answers. I mean, you can Dampening Sphere. If they can't deal with it, they just can't deal with it. But, if you can't close out the game before they just hardcast something like Ugin, they're just going to deal with it anyway, and then from that point, they're going to cast a Walking Ballista big enough to, like, shoot you and your entire house off the face of the planet. So, that's Tron. Jareth Miles is supposed to be sending me a Tron deck. We do have a Grixis deck by James Clugston. I think he's wanting us to play his modern Grixis deck. It's a Nicol Bolas, the Ravager deck in modern. Looks pretty well constructed. So I think that we're going to be playing that deck at some point this week. We'll have to see if James is going to pay for the league or not. So we'll, if he pays for the league, then we'll run it. So yeah. Thanks to Kirk's Prospector, you can at least turn 2 Blood Moon. Aw, yeah. Well, what deck's doing that, right? Standard Tron. I may have to play Standard Tron one more time. Module Tron. So, Standard Tron with Pyrostone Shards. Right. That's a thing. I mean, you can do that. It's like turn 6 go infinite mana, but still. Yeah. We've got... If we play Modern on the late night show this week, we will be playing that. We'll be playing that. We'll do it later, James. We'll do it later, man. But yeah. That's all I've got. I'm just rambling on, saying the same crap over and over and over again. Oh, he's doing his sad face, right? White red with the creature that gets a bonus from enchanting. Okay, guys, that's all I've got. My name's Eric. You've been watching Sideboard MTG. I had a lot of fun. I hope you guys had fun. We'll see you next time.